Hello everyone and welcome back to I Was a Teenage Exocolonist, and let's just continue where we left off. Alright. Before we head out, there's no point in heading out because we're almost at the max there. And I'm gonna spend a month doing some xenobotany because I think I have some more stuff to do there, some more projects. Back in the lab, you have all the right equipment to properly examine the radioactive plant you found, maybe you can find a way to protect yourself from them, so you don't need to drag a radiation-proof and virus suit with you every time you go to that part of the planet. Radiation poisoning isn't the killer it used to be on Earth. With medbeds, you can flush out deadly doses of radiation in a few hours. It could still make you really sick though, and high enough doses could kill you before you're even able to reach a medbed. How confident are you that you know how to protect yourself? Yeah, super confident, no problem. Yeah, you've totally got a handle on this. You're an engineering wunderkind. You take all the correct precautions, you clear the area of anything that might be contaminated, you wear a radiation-proof hazmat, you regularly check the radiation levels of the lab, and you have congruence on standby to call for help if you need it. Everything goes smoothly. You discover that the radioactive part of the plant is confined to the carpel of the flower, its reproductive organs, and that the petals act as a radioactive shield to protect the rest of the plant. If you press the center of the flower, the petals close and block the radiation enough that a person can pass by without feeling sick. Neat! You should be able to use this to protect yourself next time you encounter this plant in the wild. Awesome. Very nice. Governor Lum enters the colony square to his customary bombastic fanfare, brass band, red carpet, banners with the Heliopause logo snapping in the hot dust breeze. It's inspiring. Not really, but whatever. The governor gets his usual tithe of applause from die-hard soldiers, but it's obvious how tired and fearful everyone has become in service to his war. You catch Marcy's attention, and she rolls her eyes and makes a gagging motion. Cal looks sullen and withdrawn, refusing along with the rest of Geoponics to give Lum any applause. The governor raises his hands for silence, though it's largely unnecessary. "Pioneers of Vertumna," he begins. "We stand here today not shivering and quaking in fear, but with our hands around the neck," he makes a ringing gesture, "of the planet herself." Before he can continue, Mars leaps from her seat and runs to the front of the stage. A ripple of fear goes through the crowd. You all remember what happened to Utopia last year. "It doesn't have to be like this," she cries, speaking to the crowd. "We don't have to listen to him. He's just a bully with a gun, like the ones we left behind on Earth. That on should not be there." Watch in delight. She turns to the council. "Why are you just sitting there? Come on, aren't you going to do anything?" The council look at each other. Rhett seems unmoved, and Utopia shrinks into herself, holding her hand to her chest. Aunt Anne looks concerned but fearful of Lum. Instance is grim, and Zeke just waits to see what happens. Only Cal looks enthusiastic, but as the youngest member of the council, he's outmatched. Lum gestures sharply to his guards, and Mars is seized and taken out of sight. In the uncomfortable silence that follows, the governor strides to the front of the stage and looks down on the crowd. "As I was saying, you can trust me to lead this colony and humanity into a new era," he says. "An era of peace and prosperity where we no longer need to fear the creatures that come out in the night." He raises his fist to the sky. "This planet is rich," he cries. It is the earth we were promised, unscarred by the mistakes of our forefathers, which you are completely, recreating. Here we will become what humanity has always strived to become, caretakers of a new garden, children of a new earth. People cheer, spurred on by Lum's display of dominance. Lum looks upon the crowd with pride. Pioneers, we're so close, he says. Soon this planet will be ours, and all her riches and wonders with it. I mean, I don't know if there was a difference in the outcome, like what you chose there, but I feel like choosing Delight feels like you agree with her, which I do. Horrified feels like I would be like the people of the council. Cowering before Lum, which I have no intention of doing. But first, he continues, we need to adapt to the harsh realities of our current world. He gestures at the council. I know you all love your council, but it's time we thought about the future. We need to guard the colony leadership. He says this with disdain, against sudden upheavals, death, imprisonments, and the like. I've decided to instate a second position for each seat on the council, he announces. Let me guess, all of them will be from your soldiers, the Heliopause. Lum explains that every council member will take an official second in command. Seconds will be trained in the running of the department and will be ready to take over the department should the worst happen during an attack. The council looks concerned. Is this how Lum begins to cycle out the colonial government with a veneer of legitimacy? Applicants must have spent a minimum amount of time in that department and will be judged by the council based on their relevant skills, though Lum will likely argue hard for his Helio appointees. You scribble your name on the ballot for... Engineer or surveyor? Although, engineer, no. That will probably be, Tang. She should be that. Let's go for surveyor. Yeah. Utopia is a little guarded as you enter your name for consideration. Just as long as it's one of us and not one of Lum's lackeys, she says quietly. I can't trust one of them to have my back when I'm out in the wilderness. She shoots an acidic look at Rhett, who's looking chummy with the Helio soldiers. Seriously? Him too? You win! You're second surveyor now. Utopia breathes a sigh of relief and gives you a hug. I'm happy it was you, sweets, she says. If something happens to me out there, I know the colony's gonna be in mighty fine hands. You're welcome. Oh wow, 10. Nice. When the voting is concluded, Seek announces the names of those newly appointed seconds. The crowd cheers for you when Seek reads out your name as second surveyor. You don't recognize the Helio appointed to second administrator. Must be one of Lum's people. Vase is appointed to second security officer under Rhett. He gives a little speech essentially congratulating himself and promising to single-handedly win this war. Yeah, sure, I'm glad to just send him out. That's fine by me. Tangent stands proudly in her rightful place as Chief Engineer Instance's side as her second. Yeah, I figured as much. One of the Helio-born agriculturists is chosen as second cultivator. At least there's someone with actual geoponics experience, not someone Lum's installed in the position. The steward of the Heliopause joins Aunt Anne as her much-needed second steward. There's a lot of babies in the colony now, and someone has to help take care of them. After the politicking is over, the crowd adjourns to the feast tables and, eventually, the dance floor. The sun's set on the long day, the heat breaks, and the party continues well into the night. After the festivities, it's straight back to work as usual. Everyone complains. You usually get at least a few days off after Vertumnalia, but Lum reminds the colony that it's only a few short months before the next attack. Your dreams begin to increase in intensity as the wormhole draws closer to the planet, filled with terrifying and confusing visions. A feeling of urgency dogs your steps, like you're running out of time. Yeah. The year is drawing to a close. We need to rest. At least you didn't get a soldier as your second in command. Yeah, it's definitely concerning that the council is basically like, oh yeah, let's just put our hands up and just like, we surrender. Yeah, you're in charge. Like, seriously? Even Rhett? Let's just relax. You nestle in the cushions, close your eyes, and listen to music. You have an archive of over 100 years of music to choose from, but still, you wonder what new songs they're writing these days, 10 million light years away on Earth. The only new music you've heard is when the adults have come up with a new space shanty. It's nice, good music for harmonizing with your friends as you work, but it's not really something you want in your ears all the time. Fine. I want to go back to the resting ridges. Rex slings his arms around you, knocking his head against yours. Another beautiful day in paradise, right? He says, voice light but dripping with irony. You doing okay? Taking care of yourself? Yep. Hugs incoming. Rex folds you in his arms, bending his whole body to you. He smells warm and a little spicy, like clean sweat and sunshine. Yep. Just a little hug before I head out. Oh. Alright. Survey the ridge. Let's see if we can get further. Let's go this long winding road over to where we found those radioactive things before. This is where we found that tower thing. They go to the same place, so no point in going that way. Well, we can go this way. Is there anything else here? I don't... Oh. You've been saved a few times from certain doom, or at least discomfort, and it can't have been a coincidence. Something or someone has taken an interest in you. You're being followed. You're beginning to get a feel for this place and its dangers, so the next time you hear the mournful hoot of a passing air squid, you head towards it instead of away, keeping an eye out for anyone watching you from the cliffs. Hello. There! Just as you think you're going to have to grab its tentacles and fly it like a kite, you get your savior to show up. You see a shadowy humanoid figure appear over a nearby ridge. You make eye contact and both freeze. His almond-shaped eyes widen in his not quite human face, and he slips out of sight again. Track him carefully. Rather than rush after him, you use your tracking skills to carefully follow his path and sneak up on him. You pounce like a manticore and the two of you tumble to the ground. You pin his arms. Oh, hello. Yeah, very humanoid. You get a good look at his face for the first time. The long, delicate features, the odd tone of his skin, almost purple, and his glittering alien eyes. Before he can answer your questions, you jump off him and back away. What is he? He brushes the dirt from his clothes and stands up tall. Very tall. It's like an elf. You have to take another step back to get a good look at him. You catch a glimpse of a pale purple wrist under his tattered black sleeves, delicate like bird bones. I am a gardener, he purrs, and you're trespassing on my planet. Your planet? Okay. Now that you can see him, all of him, you confirm he's definitely not human. Besides the purple tint of his skin, he's also just constructed differently. Human, but not, and taken as a whole, those little discrepancies add up to something that is decidedly alien. Technically, I'm the alien. He laughs, a light and infectious chuckle that sounds more animal than human. It goes on for a bit too long. You think he might be poking fun at you. Actually, you're the alien here if you think about it. You do think about it. He's right. Yeah. He jumps up onto a large rock and crouches, eyeing you thoughtfully. Let's make a deal, he says. He speaks with an odd inflection, putting the wrong stress on things, but the words themselves come easily enough to him. I'm not supposed to talk to you, he says. It's against the rules. But since you caught me, I can grant you one wish. He smiles mischievously. Is this a joke? I wish to know more about you. He gives you a sly look. In time, Selene, I hope we... He pauses and his eyes unfocus for a moment. He stares straight ahead, unblinking. Then he slowly stretches like a cat and stands up. Well, this has been fun, but I'm afraid duty calls. He doffs an invisible hat towards you. My name is Symbiosis, by the way, or Sim, if you like. He jumps behind the rock and disappears. Literally, he disappeared. You search all around and can find no trace of where he might have gone or how. Stars, you just met an alien. No. You are the alien, Selene. How is that so hard to wrap your head around? Alright, let's get back to where we were. And see. Oh, hello. Again. You're walking up a trail when you're caught by surprise. It's Sim! And he's running? You're knocked to the side as he pushes past you, running in the opposite direction with barely a glance. You shout and chase after him, but after a few seconds, it becomes clear you don't have a hope of finding Sim when he doesn't want to be found. You turn and continue along the path, and around the next bend you spot a familiar face. Utopia. She's collecting rock samples with a pickaxe, like an old-timey prospector. Who the hell was that? She demands. I'm not gonna do that. I mean, technically, I guess I should do that one, but at the same, I want to do that one, but you are one of those that didn't dare to stand up, you know, to back up Mars. Yeah, let's do that one. Who? I didn't see anyone. Utopia squints at you. The man who just ran past, the tall guy dressed in black? How did you not see him? She hikes her pickaxe off of her shoulder. Whatever. Just watch where you're running, okay? The gravel's loose around here, and maybe check in with Doc Instance, get your eyes looked at. You agree, happy to be out of this conversation without any trouble, and continue on along the path before Utopia asks any more questions. You walk for a couple of minutes before you see Sim again. He seems to be in a good mood despite the close call. "Oh," he says, leaning against a tree. "It is tiresome to be so secretive." He wipes his eyes, brimming with mirth. "It is such a pleasure to be around you and Diz." "Oh, I'm not surprised that you know him." "And to not have to hide myself." He sobers quickly. "I do appreciate your discretion," he says. "It is not the right time for the gardeners to be formally introduced. To do so too early would cause a great degree of chaos." "Yeah, we need to get rid of Lum first." "Yes, even the female surveyor," he continues. "I do like her, but I have learned from my limited experience with your kind that adults of your species do not react well to surprises." Although she's probably the one that should technically react better, considering that she is a surveyor. "It is good you're here, though," Sim continues, "as I do need something from you. Data." "What?" Sim holds up his hands. "Please do not be alarmed," he says placatingly. "I do not mean sensitive information such as personnel and defenses. I mean only the contents of your digital cultural archive." "Like holovids?" Sim smiles. "Yes, exactly. Your holographic recordings of movies, music, books, cultural artifacts only, I promise." "Why?" "Well," Sim says, "isn't it obvious? I wish to know more about your kind. I wish to learn how to..." He struggles for the right phrasing. "I wish to learn how to act in such a way that is not so discomforting to humans." Sure." Sim's gentle smile grows warmer. "Truly?" he asks, clasping his hands. "Oh, I thought it would take a great deal more convincing. You are surprising. It's such a pleasure." You tell Sim that you can likely find a mem drive in engineering and fill it with the data he wants. I'm not going to do that because I'm with Rex. But you have a few questions of your own? "That's fair," Sim says. "It must be frustrating to feel as though the truth is being withheld from you. Ignorance is not a yoke your kind bears easily. Please trust me when I say that my inability to answer your questions is born of circumstances beyond my control, and not a lack of desire on my part," he continues. "I have full faith that you will know everything soon enough." All right. Fair enough. All right, let's continue. Every so often, you see absolutely massive creatures here, like giant snake dragons with thousands of legs and shimmering scales. They're so large that if one crosses your path, you're in for a wait. Which is exactly what you're doing. Yeah, climb on its back. And climb down on the other side. Anything of interest here? Oh, lookout point. You're scaling a huge rock plateau when you're suddenly overcome with an incredible feeling of peace. You've never felt anything like this. You literally feel lighter, like all of your troubles have been lifted away. The feeling is stronger when you touch the rocky surface, and you realize it's radiating from the rock. Stay for a while. Nice. You lie down on the rock, letting the strange magic fill you with an incredible sense of peace, love, and unity with the universe. Nice. Oh, hello. The path ahead is blocked by a field of snaking vines and brambles. They're flowering, enormous happy blossoms swaying. Ah, the radiation flowers! Yes, neutralize the radiation. Good thing you studied this plant earlier and know its wily ways. You tickle it just so and the radioactive flowers close. You push your way through to the other side unharmed. Awesome! It's nice being smart. Oh, hello, yellow flower. Oh, and a crystal. Alright. You're trudging along when suddenly you're buffeted by a hot wind. Alright. Find the source? You take careful readings from a distance, triangulate them, and discover the source of the wind. A red sports ball-sized crystal emanator hidden in a small crevice. When you smash it, it doesn't shatter like crystal. It almost looks as if it could have been organic? Was it some kind of defensive barrier? Yet another weird mystery of these ridges. Okay, new cars in the depot. Interesting. Yeah, let's grab that. Yeah. Let's grab those. And have a look up here. Expeditions has been collecting energy readings from this area, tracing the invisible ley lines of power like the one from the thumper that brought you here in the first place. They've pointed you to this cave, a nexus of power at the convergence of many lines. You can feel the energy is different here, like a barely perceivable hum that prickles up the back of your neck, like something is watching you. It's like this was some sort of important place for the convergent domain, Utopia says, leaning on her glider. I've sent teams through, but it gets mighty tight in there. I'm hoping you might have better luck wiggling in there. She continues. Might be the caves inside open up again, and if they do, take plenty of readings and report back to me. It's hard to shake the feeling of being watched. In fact, you're sure. Oh, yes. Of course. There he is. You can see Sim's mysterious form up there, watching you from a nearby ridge. He holds up his hand in greeting when he sees you looking. Utopia nods and leaves you to it. What's the plan? Talk to Sim first? You ensure that Utopia's good and gone before you kick up your glider and go talk to Sim. He looks delighted when you land beside him. You're getting warmer, he sing-songs. Hot, very hot. He rests his weight on his hands and kicks his feet over the ledge. I'm not supposed to tell you anything, he confides, but it's just so interesting to watch you figure things out. Humans, so curious and so smart. You're not getting anything out of him. You grumble and glide back to the cave entrance. Prep your caving equipment. You get the headlamp and a little recording drone with a floodlight attachment, a tiny buzzing flying thing that circles around your head and sometimes illuminates what you want to look at. It's intelligent, which just means it won't just do what you want. Utopia has also left you an anti-grav belt with a warning to practice extreme caution while spelunking down there. They make you lighter so you can climb more easily and won't hurt yourself as much if you fall. Enter the cave. Hey, I recognize this from my dream! The narrow entrance leads to a bigger room that animals have clearly used as a den. It's enormous with glowing mushrooms on the walls and piles of bones in some crevices. In some places, the walls are made of iridescent convergent domain obsidian. Like this was once a great hall millennia ago. You can feel a cool breeze coming from somewhere, but it'll be tricky to find in the dark. Try to find a way in deeper. You find the source of the breeze by tossing some fine sand into the air and watching which way the dust blows. It's a very tight crack. Good thing you're so small. You squeeze through and have to shimmy along on your belly for about 10 meters, pushing your gear ahead of you. It's quite uncomfortable, but you keep it together. Past the crack, there are fewer signs of animals. The walls are smooth, grown obsidian, which has a kind of melted rainbow oil slick look. There are deeply carved glyphs on the walls at various intersections, like room designations or street names, you wonder. And other kinds of basins, alcoves grown into the rock, full of odd protrusions, all ancient and worn and inexplicable now. It feels homey. You come to realize the convergent domain must have lived underground. That's why there are so few ruins on the surface. As you follow the cave complex down, it's clear this used to be a well-traveled path. The corridors branching off to other places are now blocked off as if a big earthquake had rattled this whole area. Only this one main path is still clear. It's too convenient to be a coincidence. The floor of the cave slopes downward like a slide, and it's quite slippery. Pay attention to your footing. You follow the cave system down, 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 all the way to what must be the bottom of the cliffs. You have to climb down a 3-story wall in the last section and are grateful to have your anti-grav belt for making it easier. You're still tired, though. You can see dim light below. Daylight? You emerge into a hidden valley, totally surrounded by tall cliffs. Did you just come down all that way? You're surrounded by the ruins of convergent domain buildings in much better condition than the windswept ones on the surface. It's perfectly still here and as quiet as space itself. What was this? It doesn't feel like a city, more like some kind of facility or station, and it feels so familiar. You remember this place from your dreams and feel a throbbing sense of importance that is a bit unnerving. Something momentous happened to you here, or will happen to you someday? You poke around a little, then call Utopia and give her your coordinates. She swings down on her glider, with an extra one for you tethered behind it. You're happy you won't have to climb all the way back up. She whistles. Great find, Selene. This place didn't show up on any of our aerial scans. Took me a while to find a route in. You look bushed, she says. I'll stick around to get some readings, but you head on back to the depot and get some rest. Don't worry, we aren't gonna push on without you. I can keep exploring a bit more. Yeah, my stress is at 56, so yeah, keep exploring. Collectibles respawn faster and more slots are filled. Okay. Well, let's see if there is anything else to find here. I didn't go this way. Oh, right. No, I did. I collected a yellow flower there, didn't I? No, doesn't seem to be anything in this direction, but let's do this one. Utopia sent you to study one of the large crystal outcroppings. Up close, you can't help but get the sense that they're alive somehow. They're angular and hard to the touch, but they have a sort of sponginess and warmth to them that's a little disconcerting. They emit a humming noise. Study them. You notice that they hum the loudest at midday under full sun. The few crystals that have grown under shaded outcroppings are less vibrant than the others. They remind you of convergent domain tech. By blocking the crystal's sun? On a hunch, you cover up one with some ferns. After an hour, it stops vibrating. Something deep inside it has gone dormant. The crystal turns clear, like the ones that were shadowed naturally. When you remove the fronds, the color returns. Do I want to do that? That feels wrong. Try uprooting one. They do indeed have roots, and they're really tough. You dig around the base of one and expose them so you can see. They're made of the same glass, but rough and frosted, and warm, much warmer than the surrounding soil. The roots go down deeper than you can dig. You won't be able to remove one without breaking it. I don't want to break it. Leave them alone. You take some more readings and measure the distance between crystal clusters and the number in each cluster. Hopefully all these numbers will be useful to Utopia. Might want to head back now. Alright. Definitely interesting to have met Sim. Oh. I could definitely use some more of that. That's for sure. Anyway, we will relax next time because I am going to end this episode here. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider leaving a like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!